I am so excited that you are interested in LEGO Series Play or you have scheduled your first session. LEGO Series Play can be a really great way to see your thoughts in front of you. You can manipulate, move it around, and really see what's going on. In this video, I want to just give you a quick overview so you know what to expect and how to prepare for your LEGO Series Play session. First, I want to point out that LEGO Series Play is a little different than just playing with Legos. When you've probably played with Legos before, most kids have a set of Legos at some point. In reality, a lot of kids have a lot of Legos. And your experience probably had more to do with trying not to step on them and how to keep them clean. So this will be a little different for you, and you get to be the one who gets to play. With Legos, you generally are building something very concrete. You might be building a car, you might build a village, a boat. Maybe some of the latest Disney characters now have Lego sets for them. You're building things that are things that you might see out and about and around. The difference with LEGO Series Play is that you are literally building your thoughts. What you see in front of you is what you're thinking about. And sometimes we don't know exactly what we're building, but as we talk about what we've built, we start making meaning. We start to pull those connections together and really understand our thoughts in a different way. I also like that with LEGO Series Play, we can pick it up. We can turn things around. Sometimes I might want to look at how is my minifigure seeing what's in front of it, or maybe I want to see what it's like to look at my minifigure or to look at it from a different perspective. So it really allows me to experience my thoughts and make meaning with them in a very different way. Now, there's a couple of things to prepare for your first LEGO Series Play session. One of the things that we will do is have you build while we're in our coaching session. And it is really helpful if I can see what you're building as you're building it. If that's not possible, you can always text me a picture after you've built it, but it works best if I can see what you're building and then be able to see as you're manipulating what you've built. The easiest way to do that, most people are on a laptop or they have a phone or a tablet where they can tilt the camera angle so that I can see. So most of my clients just tip their laptop screen down a little bit so that the camera is pointing down in front of them at a table. They might have a cookie sheet or a tray on their lap so that I can see what's there. I've also had some clients join the Zoom with a second camera facing from a different direction. So whatever works for you, but just kind of letting you know what to expect so that you can think about how it might be easiest for you to accomplish that. The other thing is just to talk about a few of the pieces that you have, just so that you're aware of them. You will receive a bag. This is the coaching kit for the LEGO Series Play. And it has a set of curated Legos that have been designed to help evoke some of that awareness, to give you some options to be able to express different thoughts and different perspectives. Now, if you are in a location that I was not able to mail you a kit, if you have Legos on hand, you can totally use those. Just grab a couple of handfuls. In this kit, there are about 50 to 56 pieces, just to give you an idea. You do not need to count them. You do not need to have all of the same pieces. You just need to take a couple of handfuls so that you have a wide enough variety in front of you that you can build, but not so much that it's endless and overwhelming. It works best if you don't go into your child's room or to bring in a box of their Legos and you have this huge massive tub. That can get you to a place of trying to make it perfect instead of making the meaning as you go. So you just need a small little bit of Legos, just enough to have in front of you to build. The other things that you will need are a plate, and all LEGO Series Play kits come with this smaller black plate. It is a 4x6 plate, and this comes in all LEGO Series Play coaching kits. If we're doing an event that I've mailed kits, it's for a larger group, this may be the size of kit that you have. If you're a coaching client, I also include this, generally a green plate, but it is an 8x16 plate. And this gives you a little more space. This is a little more conducive to some of the work that we do in coaching, where we're thinking about where you are and where you want to get to. So you'll have one of these, and you can use these as your base layer, but you don't have to. You can use them at the top. You can use them in whatever way you want, or not use them at all. I'm simply pointing out that you have access to them. You also will have a minifigure, or if you're pulling your own Legos together, go ahead and grab a minifigure or two, depending on kind of the topic that we have. You'll have a pair of legs and you'll have a torso, and you can put those together. There will also be a head in your kit that you can also put together. So you now have a minifigure. This minifigure will represent you in your build. So in this build that I did after an event that I was in, this minifigure represented how I was interacting in this build. And what is important is that we can talk about you and we can talk about your minifigure. So I might have had someone ask me a question like, what is your minifigure experiencing in your build? Or they might have said, what do you notice as you look at this build? So we want to be able to talk about you separately from your minifigure. So I always ask clients as we get started, what would you like to call your minifigure? And it could be as simple as that's minifigure Crystal. Or I like to give mine names, and it depends on the session, depends on the mood that I'm in. I've given it anything from a nickname to how I wanted my minifigure to feel in that session, which was brave. So whatever feels right for you is what you can call your minifigure. A couple of more things to point out. If you have the coaching kit, you probably have this turntable piece. This allows you to have some movement. You can put your build on it, you can put your minifigure on it, and it allows you to be able to spin around. You can use that in any of your builds, but you don't have to. Also, you have this tool, which is called the human tool or the axle tool. Again, this can be a part of your build. If you want something that gives you that look or that feel, you can use that. What it is also designed for is to help you remove some of the pieces that are harder to take apart. So these two can get kind of stuck together. You can take this skinnier edge and sometimes pry the pieces up. You can take the edge that has the studs and put those studs on top of the other studs, and then use that as leverage to take the bricks apart. As we get started with a one-on-one LEGO Series Play coaching session, I'll ask you a few things. I'll just tell you these now so that you can be thinking about them. Most clients don't have any problem with it. But I will ask you if it's okay if I ask you about what you've built and for you to tell me about it. When you do, I will actually ask you to tap and point. So maybe say the pink brick is representing whatever it is. So if you just tap and touch as you're talking about it, it helps us to both orient to what you're describing and helps us to focus our attention a little bit better. But I might ask you, is it okay if I ask you questions about what you built? I might say, is it okay if I ask you questions about how you feel about what you've built, or maybe about what your minifigure sees? And I also will ask you if it's okay if I ask if you would be interested in participating in an experiment. I might say, well, what would you think about seeing what your minifigure feels like if you move it? Or maybe would you like to see what it feels like to move that piece? As with all coaching, you have the right to say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to try that. These are your thoughts, and I respect your thoughts and what you want to do with those thoughts. That's simply suggestions. I'm only going to point out what I see and ask you questions about that. But I will start our session out by asking for that permission first. As we get started, I actually tell clients a statement that they kind of look at me funny and they think, I don't quite know what she means by that. And that is, you sometimes aren't going to know what to build. You're going to look at your pieces and you're going to take the question that I've just posed to you and think, I have no idea. And that is okay. That actually happens a lot. What I always say is it's okay. If you don't know what to do, just start building and let your hands be the guide. As odd as this sounds at first, your body knows what to do. Your body knows you can take pieces and put them together, and sometimes it feels right. And other times you think, that's not where that piece goes. And as you start building more and getting a little more familiar with this, that just becomes second nature. You just start moving things around until you figure out where pieces need to go. And the clients that I have told that to, that they've looked at me like, that's really weird. At the end of our session, they say, you were right. Like, I knew when that piece was in the right place. So just trust your instincts, trust your body, let your mind just wander and make the meaning as you go. Just let your hands start building and see what comes out. Sometimes that is the most profound shift that you can have, is just seeing what develops and seeing what you think about that. So as we get started, whether this is a group session or a one-on-one coaching session, the very first time that you have a LEGO Series Play session, we'll do what's called a skill build. We'll do something simple that allows you to work with the Legos and get comfortable with using them as a metaphor instead of just building from a picture or from instructions. It'll be simple, it'll be short, and it'll just give us an opportunity to get acclimated and acquainted with the Legos in the process. After you've built it, I will ask you to explain it and tap and talk, and I might make some observations or questions such as, I see that your minifigure is sitting on a piece that's moving around. What does that mean to you? We'll talk just a little bit about it and spend 5-10 minutes doing that. After that, we'll move into what is called your identity build. And that is where the real magic is happening. If it is a LEGO Series Play group event, I will come prepared with a prompt to provide everybody. And everybody will build off of the same prompt, and then we'll see what comes up. It's fascinating to see a room full of people working from the same prompt and having vastly different builds in front of them. If it is a one-on-one session, we might actually talk for just a few minutes before you start building so that we can clarify and narrow in on what it is that you're wanting to take away from our session that will influence the build. You'll have 3 to 5 minutes for those activities, a touch longer for the identity build. That doesn't sound like very long, and it actually is more than enough time. It is enough time for you to get in and start building, and yet not enough time for you to overthink and try to make things perfect. And that's one of the points of this. After you've built your LEGO build, sometimes called your artifact, we'll talk about that. We'll talk through it. And what I like to always say is whatever you build is perfect as it is. You don't have to change anything. There's no right or wrong. There's no, this looks good, this looks bad. It is what it is because it is your thoughts. And with that said, they are your thoughts. You can change it at any point. You can take anything apart. You can add to it. You can move things around. We may even experiment with that and say, what would that feel like if you were to move that piece and try it out in a different place? So you can change it at any point, but whatever you built is perfect and is fine. At the end of our time, I will ask you to think about what you're taking away from our session and from your LEGO Series Playtime. It's called captioning. If you were around whenever we would print out pictures and put them into a photo album, you would actually write the caption underneath that. I know that there's ways that we can do that digitally now too. Sometimes we'll have a picture and you'll see captions underneath that. Well, that's what we're going to do. As part of your kits, you probably received a note card that you can write your takeaways on it. If you were to look back on this build a week from now, what do you want to remember? What is important that you're taking away? What do you want to make sure you don't forget? Or what is standing out to you as really important? So you'll caption your build. If you were in a group, you'll tell each other about it. If we're doing this one-on-one, you'll tell me about what you wrote down, and it will be a way of solidifying what you've learned and what came out of your LEGO Series Play time. So that's a little bit about LEGO Series Play. And I have had clients who were a little skeptical at first and a little timid about doing the Lego series play because they are not creative. They didn't think that they'd be able to do it. And they were very surprised to see how impactful it is, how much meaning they could make from it, and actually how much easier it was than they thought it would be. So I'm looking forward to doing this with you and having a little bit of playful fun in the midst of our coaching time.